after the explosion. When we were in office, that is not far from Serena, we had 2 explosives that were quite loud, and people were wondering what could have that been, but we tried and at least tried to arrive on time. So part of the parliament, that is parliament, it is completely cordoned off. People are not supposed, no one is supposed to be accessing parliament from now onwards. I see a red tape on the other side, and also I see a red tape close to parliament. Another ambulance also towards the Ministry of Education. People are standing outside and wondering what could have taken place. I see another ambulance coming in. But it's not clear whether everyone that was in the building, in front of the in the buildings that were nearby where the explosion happened, whether they have been evacuated. Sorry. It's not clear whether everybody has been evacuated. So you can see, just when you're coming from National Theatre, it's not just about 50 meters to the parliamentary main gate. They have cordoned off the area, that is police. But this has taken the country by surprise, a complete surprise. There have been many threats that have been coming in, especially terror threats, but this one has taken everyone by surprise. It completely happened just right in front of the Jubilee Insurance building, that is Parliamentary Avenue. I managed to see with my eyes 2 bodies lying down. One person, the head was completely ripped off. Another one was lying with half of his head just remaining. And I see from a distance, you can zoom in. I see from a distance the Red Cross. The Red Cross, they are trying to evacuate whoever is available, and maybe those who have been injured. Those who have been injured. So the police want nobody in this area. And you know, it has been a problem where crime scenes are always interrupted with. Crime scenes, people normally, they are tampered with by people, especially because sometimes police responds. Fire brigade coming in, more fire brigade, more equipment from Uganda police that you'd expect at a crime scene like this one. And of course, they continue to extinguish fire. There were completely 2 explosions that we had, and they all happened just few seconds after the other. I see the special forces coming onto the scene. The special forces coming to the scene. All right. But I can tell you, you can visibly see pieces of flesh that are scattered even close to the route, or to almost towards the gate of Parliament. Some people were hesitant to leave. I see one person who is hesitant to leave the crime scene. Much as there are so many who have seen the security forces in the area, nobody is sure whether the explosion was ferried by the borders that I saw that were mangled in 2 pieces. Nobody knows whether the explosion was in the car. It is just a chapter the police has to start on to find out who are the perpetrators, who could this person be behind the attack. The ambulance going. It's not clear whether the person who is inside is alive or dead. but I saw one person lying lifeless. There is one person, there is one person who was complaining about the police's response. I think he had either a vehicle. Just sir, I heard you complaining that the response was quite slow. Why? Were you here? Let's put aside the complaint. Were you here?
I don't want to interview this time.
Amwe kutwegattako tuyinza gamba nti tusanyusa okubanga ate mutwegaseko naye ensonga yonako olwaleero ekyali yanaku ddala era nga kati tuli wano ku CPS oluvannyuma lw'ekibwatuko ekibadde wali nga ku Raja Chambers ne wano ku poliisi yennyini kitebe kya poliisi ekya CPS waliwo okubwatuka okubaddewo era nga wali ku Kotagad wayingira wennyini ekibwatuka we kibadde nga n'okutuusa kati ab'ebyokwerinda nga boolaba bagezaako okulaba ensonga nga bwe zitambula so embeera gye nnyinza okubuulira essaawa eno nti yabwerinde ebyokwerinda byamaanyi ddala okuviira ddala ku luguudo luno olujja ku CPS Renanga lwonna luzibiddwa wano Constitutional Square wonna abasobodde okubanga ab'ebyokwerinda basalako nga tebakkiriza muntu okujjako w'amawulire n'ab'ebyokwerinda abazze okulaba ogubadde mu kiseera kino kati ab'ebyokwerinda okuva mu bitongole eby'enjawulo bazze okwongera okulaba ogubadde nga bw'olengera waggulu awo poliisi abajjati n'abalala bagezaako okulaba nga balaba ogubadde emabegakaawo tulabye abamu ku banoonyereza bano ab'ekapika ebyambalo ebyeru nga nabo bazze okulaba ogubadde era nga boolaba abakkirira kakati bagezaako buli kimu okwongera okufefeta naye nga bwe nkutegeezezza nti okubwatuka wano ku CPS kubadde wali ku Kotagad oba awayingira ekitebe kya poliisi wennyini wabadde okubwatuka angenda kubanga ngamba munnanga ayongere okulaga ekifaananyi ekyo kyennyini kyenjogerako wali ku Kotagad wolaba emmotoka ya poliisi wali gwatera okujja ku CPS ng'oyingira we wabwatuse era nga ennaku zino obadde wasimbawo emmotoka ez'enjawulo ze bakutte emisango egitali gimu awo wennyini we wabwatuse nga mu kiseera kino ndabyeko ne afande Ochomu ng'ono deputy AIGP naye azze okwongera okulaba nga bwe nkutegeezezza amagye poliisi n'abalala ngenda kwongera ekifaananyi okwongera okulaga wennyini okubwatuka we kubadde tetunaba kutegeera bantu bameka abakoseddwa ebyo bijja kubanga byogerwa gye buvuddeko byonna naye nga essaawa zino batugamba tuveewo era nga ntegeezeddwa nti emmotoka eyo eri emabega gy'olaba wabadde okubwatuka ekibwatuka mu kibadde naye nga byonna poliisi egenda okubanga eyongera okubikakasa naye nga nyongera okutegeeza nti yo embeera tennaba kubeera nnungi n'omulundi n'ogumu ambulances zitandise okujja bomb squad nazo zitandise okujja okwongera okulaba embeera nga bweri naye nga wano ku CPS gwatera okumanya atera okujjawo wennyini ku gate okuwankaki ewayingira CPS we wabadde enjega eno essaawa zino so okunoonyereza kukyagendera ddala maaso nga bawulira obugombe bwa ambulensi buze abambulensi bagezaako okulaba embeera nga bweri naye nga yo nyinza okugamba nti si birungi n'omulundi n'ogumu ndabyeko ku motoka emu we tujjidde nga egenda ng'eriko obunyamanyama oba bwaki sinza kakasa nti obunyamanyama bubadde bwa muntu oba obunyamanyama bubadde bwaki naye nga yo embeera ebadde tennaba kubeera nnungi n'omulundi n'ogumu so tukyali wano tukyalinda kye banaaba tugambye ekyekibaddewo biki ekivuddeko ebadde bbomu si bbomu nga bwe nkugambye ogwo si mulimu gwange kakasa oba ebadde bbomu oba ebadde ki naye nga kyenyinza okukakasa nti ko okubwatuka kubaddewo wano wennyini ku CPS era bwe tugenda okubanga twongera okutuusaako sigala nga wekumidde ku NTV bingi tugenda kubanga tubikutuusaako naye nga mu kiseera kino ab'ebyokwerinda aba buli kika bazze okulaba nga balaba ogubadde era nga tujja kubanga tulaba buli kimu naye nga essaawa eno gwe ajja mu kibuga tolowooza nti ogenda kubanga osembera kumpi n'ekifo kino ekya CPS. Ngenda kwongera okulagako ku kifaananyi wali wansi oluguudo basobodde okubanga baluggalawo Nogo Zone area bolaba wali Emmamba okuviira ddala wali ku kubo erya Constitution Square okwambuka eno waggulu ku CPS tebakkirizaawo kakati muntu yenna era nga n'essaawa zino era ab'ebyokwerinda bagezaako okulaba nti buli omu asemberera ddala mabega eri si kulwa nti ate wabaawo okubatomanya kiyinza kubanga nate kiddira naye nga yo embeera wadde nga sobola kubanga nsembera kumpi wali bw'obanga oli eno ddala olaba nti wabaddewo impact oba wabaddewo ekibwatuse kirabika nga kiresewo impact ey'amaanyi. So byebyo bikyagendera ddala mu maaso munaffe tulaba wano ku NTV tugenda kubanga twongera okutuusaako byonna nga bwe bitambula olunaku olwaleero. Mpozzi abasinga ababadde okumpi wano ne CPS saako ne Roger Chambers wali abadde okubwatuka nga nze omuntu mbadde mundaawo mu office ngenza okuwulira okujugumira nga abamu badde balowooza nti oba musisi naye gye bigweredde nga tuwulira nti wabaddewo okubwatuka okwenjawulo okusookera ddala wali ku Roger Chambers nga munaffe Sudil Byaruhanga bwatulaze so nga ate ne wano ku CPS kakati nawo ensonga bweto bwekyali. So tujja kubanga twongera okubaddira okubategeeza nga bwe bitambula kansooke nkomo mu studio nga bwe twongera okufuna ebifaananyi ebyenjawulo maaso awo tujja baddira aye teweerabira nti ekinyusi ku NTV akawungeezi ne NTV Tonight tujja kubanga tubibatuusaako. Nze Ali Mivule tujja kubanga twongera okubibatuusaako.
Screen are actually showing the carnage that has befallen the Central Business District after two bomb explosions went off at Buganda Road, that is near the entrance of the Central Police Station here in Kampala. We also do know that another bomb explosion actually did go off at that is Raja Building near Parliament Avenue. We also do know that several scores of individuals were actually injured during that bomb explosion, and confirmed reports indicate that 2 people lost their lives. Well, the first explosion did go off today morning, and many people thought it was an earthquake. When the second one went off, I actually knew something was wrong. I hopped onto a border and ran straight to Central Police Station, where I did interact with some of the survivors of the explosion. They actually contend that this bomb was actually hidden under a police pickup truck. Now, soon after the explosion went off, these individuals died, shattering the premises of the Central Police Station and injuring scores of individuals. So think about this situation. If people who are inside the building at Central Police Station, CPS, got injured, then what about the people who are near the explosion, at the entrance and the surrounding environs? It means it's really carnage in the Central Business District, and that is the Central Police Station that has been blown up at the entrance. Please, I did spoke to the police officers at the scene, and they were telling me no one is allowed at this scene, and they have orders to shoot to kill. So please, dear citizens, do not go anywhere near the Condon area where the explosion did go off. You can actually be shot by members of the security who might actually mistake you to be a member of the Allied Democratic Forces, whom we suspect to have orchestrated this heinous move. Because in the past, we've seen the Islamic State Central Africa Province orchestrating such attacks on members of the military and military installations. On October 8th, members of the Islamic State Central Africa Province actually did blow up a police station right here in Kampala. They were saying that they were targeting crusaders or members who were actually allied to the NRM government. Those are members of the military. On October 25th in Komamboga Digida Pok Joint, we also did see another explosion go off, and then we did see the Islamic State Central Africa Province claim responsibility for that attack, saying that they were targeting crusaders of the NRM regime in that regard. Those are some of the details we are getting, and we haven't gotten any information pertaining to whom is actually claiming responsibility for this heinous attack. But what we do know is one explosion is at the entrance of CPS and also Parliament Avenue. There is Sudhir Byaruhanga trying to talk to us, to update us and give us more information. I'll be back to you. Sudhir Byaruhanga.
Explosion can happen any time from now, but they'll be giving us more details as whether this was a terror attack or something else.
You do have for this news before
and then also Sir, I think that's a wrong statement.
No, let's go that side. Because we are trying to push you. Not
Yeah,
push.
it's okay. Yeah, we are very easy. We are cooperating.
Where do you want us to go?
We are clearing all this place. We are all these vehicles, and we want you behind the vehicles. Behind the vehicles. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. Yeah, we are very polite. We are very polite.
Get that rope then. Move.
So,
Hello. Let's move.
police continues to expand the crime scene. And of course, I see some people who are passing by. I think they didn't know what was going on. I see them running, police telling them to run away. And there could be some of those who are maybe still inside the buildings. There are several offices where this incident happened. In front you have the Jubilee Insurance building. Down the ground floor there are several banks that completely face the road, that is Nile Avenue. And then just right a few meters, just right in front where the explosion happened, there is Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. And then when you walk past that, you see that is you head to the Parliament main gate. It's not clear whether this was a targeted attack but police will be giving us more information about this. But you can recall, this is not the first time that there are several the explosions have taken place. You heard of an explosion earlier in the recent past, that is in Masaka. Another one that happened at an eating pork joint, the other side of Chanja. And there have been several warnings that have been issued by police earlier on that people should remain vigilant and be suspicious in case they see any items dropped by someone or any person or any luggage that is unattended to. So right now I see the bombs, the canine section doing a search, and the sniffer dogs.
Sawa zino kumanya bameka abalumiziddwa mu mbeera eno eriwo kossa n'okumanya kulumizibwa kubadde kwa kyenkana ki ku kusaamusaamu bafunye ebisago eby'amaanyi yembeera eri wano ku KCCA era nga boolaba waggulu wali omukulu wa officer wa police ageza okulaba balina ebidduka bonna bafuna ebidduka byabwe babijjewo bafulume awo muli n'abo abadde bazze okugemebwa obulwadde bwa COVID-19 kossa n'abo abakolera wano mulimu mirimu egy'enjawulo abakozi ab'enjawulo mu bitongole byonna ebya KCCA bazze bafulumizibwa era nga abakulira ebyokulo tulabyeko aba flying squad aba CMI kossa n'abo aba police banoonyereza ku butujju bayingidde ekizimbe kino nakyo okulaba nga bagenda maaso n'okunoonya oba okufeffetta okulaba nga ddala kino ekizimbe nakyo kiri bulungi ddala tewaliwo mbeera yonna ereeta bunkenke wadde okuyiwa omusaayi mu kibuga Kampala yembeera nga bwekyali wano tutambula tugenda ku ddwaliro erya KCCA ewali wetusuubira nti webalese abantu abalumiziddwa mu mbeera eno naye nga tutegeddeko emabega kaabo okubwatuka kubadde ku KCCA kubadde ku CPS kossa ne ku Parliament Avenue era nga kati abakozi bonna ab'ekitongole kya KCCA bali mu kufulumizibwa bafulume bagende ebweru.
I see another ambulance taking some people just right in front here. The injured. We do not know how many people have died in this explosion, but all we could see were pieces of flesh scattered and all over the road. There is some pieces are even close to just at the turn or the junction to the parliamentary main gate. And earlier, immediately after the explosion, I want to remind you that we saw the Speaker of Parliament and other dignitaries, officials from Parliament being evacuated from Parliament, which is the procedure just in case of any attack. And later that followed people trying to struggle to put out the fire, especially that had caught one of the vehicles that were parked in front where the explosion happened. Two border borders were caught in between. However, it's not clear whether they were part of those that were behind this kind of explosion. But there were two border borders caught in between, and happened to see one person lying dead. The police are trying to ensure that no person or no civilian gets close to where the crime scene is. They have completely cordoned it off. And so whoever is traveling or whoever is moving, avoid using the Nile Avenue route. You will not be able to go through. You can only use Kampala Road and maybe Nile Avenue. Nile Avenue, and you avoid the Parliamentary Avenue. Parliamentary Avenue is completely cordoned off or cut off by police as they try to search and for any more evidence that would lead to who was behind this kind of explosion or the attack. Could it have been a terror attack? Could it have been something else? The police will be giving us that information later on. But when I look from a distance where the explosion happened, there was a government vehicle that was parked just right near where the explosion happened. The behind screens were completely ripped off by the explosion, but right in front where the banks were, smithereens of glass covered or littered the area due to the explosion that happened. It's not clear whether several bankers inside were caught in between, but at the time when we reached, everybody had completely run out of those banks, and it is just close to the main road. I'm seeing detectives. The forensic department has also just arrived, that is from police. They're the ones who are going to be picking any sort of evidence that would completely give them a clue of what could have happened, what kind of explosion was it, and maybe where was it coming from. And of course, not far from here where the explosion happened, I see a camera, a security camera just right in front of the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. There is a camera that faces the road that comes from Parliament, another one faces or pointing exactly where the incident happened. There is one camera that is there pointing there, and another one just in front of the Parliament gate, also focusing on the other side. So later on, maybe police will be telling us more on what they will find or what could have been captured before the explosion happened. But I see several, I see motorcycles just right near the fire brigade at the crime scene that were also mangled by the explosion that followed a fire that caught one of the vehicles that was parked just right in front of the building. Several offices are right here. That is the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. When you move just a few yards from there, you go to Kampala Capital City Authority. That is the main office. And then also in front, just right in front of where the explosion happened, just less than about 30 meters, is the Parliament gate. And then when you also move other yards, you see the Ministry of Education. So it's a highly concentrated area by government officials. So it's not clear whether this was a targeted attack or whether there was something else. But the police are the ones who are going to be verifying and giving us a conclusive report or summary of what could have happened or befallen the country on this very day that has completely shocked the people nearby. The businesses that are nearby, they have all closed. I see there was right near where the explosion happened, there was a mobile money booth. In fact, two of them. It's not clear whether these people were caught in between this explosion. Two mobile money booths just right on the streets. Also, it's not clear whether there is whether there are any of other dignitaries that could have maybe gotten caught up in this very explosion. The sniffer dogs are still now trying to completely sniff all the cars that are parked right in front of the crime scene, to avoid any other eventuality, just in case there is maybe a planted bomb that would explode maybe later on. So in case you want to use Nile Avenue, in case you're moving within town, stick to Kampala Road. Do not use the Parliamentary Avenue Road. It is completely cut off. It can only be accessed by ambulances and also security forces that are in charge of managing this crime scene. The explosion was quite intense, that those who are caught in between it, you see their flesh littered on the road. I managed to see an arm of a person, shoes strewn on the road. Some of the survivors, shocked and terrified by what happened. Like I had earlier said, I saw a lady who was in the building. She could only say, she confirmed to me that she was in the building trying to call her relatives at the time to ensure that she goes to for safety. But on her clothes, she had pieces of flesh. It was not clear where exactly she was at the time of the explosion, but that is what exactly I observed when I reached the crime scene a few minutes after the explosion. And of course, you continue to see what is going on. I see the forensic team getting ready to move to the scene, including the medical personnel, that is from police. They are on the ground just to ensure that they could maybe rescue whoever could have been injured. But at the time of the explosion, now immediately after the explosion, I saw one person who was taken in a police pickup, one gentleman whose head was completely injured and blood completely pouring down or streaming down his face. It's not clear where exactly he was at the time, but police managed to take him to hospital in time. There was a fire that followed the explosion, and that fire was exactly at the scene where the explosion happened. You could see leaves, or even up to now you see leaves of the trees nearby that provide a canopy to these offices that are occupied by the government official, that is Parliament and also Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs, plus the bankers who are just completely in front of where the explosion happened, and then Parliament. It's a place concentrated with government offices. That is also the Ministry of ICT, or who remembers the place where police headquarters used to be. That is the Ministry of ICT, NITA offices are also just around there. This explosion happened it's the first of its kind to happen just right near the government offices, the first of its kind near government offices, especially Parliament, the ministries and others. In the recent past, there were other explosions. That is one in a bus in Masaka, and then also another one that happened in Kampala at a pop joint that killed one person. But this one is one of its kind that has happened just right near Parliament, and also the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs plus ICT Ministry, and also the Ministry of Education is not far from here. It's a bizarre situation, I could say. A bizarre situation. People are moving about their businesses as usual, but this completely shocked everyone. This completely shocked everyone. It completely shocked everyone. It's not clear how many people have been injured. It's not clear how many people have died in this explosion. The police will later on give us that information. It's not clear whether this was a targeted attack. Nobody knows yet. Still waiting to hear what the police will say. But what I can see still, you see leaves of the trees that could provide a canopy completely litter